Welcome to part 6 of our Bambu Studio tutorials for beginners. Today we're going to be talking about making adjustments for supports. We're going to look at manual adjustments as well as your basic threshold adjustments. Let's jump right in. Okay, jumping right in, the first thing I want to look at is just the basic settings that I have for this Voronoi pot that I've designed. This pot was actually designed using the Make My Vase tool. So if you want to see how I made that, you can go ahead and click this link up here. Okay, the basic settings we have, I just have your Bambu basic PLA. I'm actually going to switch this over to my my custom PLA. So we've selected my generic PLA. We're going to come down and look through some of the basic settings. So standard quality, 0.02 layer height. Shouldn't need to change anything here. The next section, I do want to add one wall loop. I just feel like this is going to be helpful. And I want to add an extra layer on the bottom. So we're going to increase that bottom shell to 4 layers. I feel like that'll help clean up some of the garbage you get from just the basic supports that we're going to add. I'm going to come down here and switch from grid to adaptive cubic. Probably won't need a lot of infill on this. We'll look at it here in just a second, but I don't believe there's a lot of infill. And I'm just going to do a basic slice. So keep the speed, keep supports turned off, and we'll slice this. Right away, we got a warning saying, hey, you need some support, which we knew already. I just wanted to see where I need them. So this model by itself is 2 hours and 48 minutes. Let's see where we need support. So I'm going to flip this model over and we're going to zoom in, and anywhere that you're seeing this blue, that is where the model needs some supports. So I'm going to try to look for just a basic angle to see where I feel like I need some supports. Definitely need some supports there. This is probably the angle that I would say needs supports for, like, that needs supports. So let's go do a simple manual adjustment just on the threshold. So let's enable our tower. And I'm going to just slice it with the default tree. Definitely would not want to use a manual, or sorry, we do not want to use your normal supports here. It would take forever. So we're going to slice it with the default. The only thing we're going to change is we only want this on the build plate, and slice the plate. Now that we've got some supports in here, you'll see it's going to take 3 hours, 45 minutes of that time. Looks like about an hour of that is going to be some support. So let's look and see. So I know earlier I said I want some supports on this line here in particular. And you'll see there should definitely be some supports here, just to keep this looking good. The rest of it all looks like it did a pretty good job supporting. So what I'm going to do is we're going to actually go increase that angle just a little bit and see if we can get there. So maybe we're going to bump this up to about 40. So I don't want to go completely to 45. It'll definitely print a 45-degree angle just fine. And we're going to slice this plate again. Okay. Looks like we're still kind of running into the same issue. And this is something I thought might be a problem. We are getting some of these. It looks like it did grab a couple of these ones down here, but it's still missing where I would like to see some supports. This is an issue you run into a little bit. And so I'm going to come down and we're going to just see if we can increase this a little bit more and get it to support what we're looking for. So we're going to bump this up to 45, do one more slice. And if that doesn't work, then we'll go to painting on our supports. Okay. So looks like still not quite getting the results. And now one thing I have looked at is doing the kind of the opposite of what we're talked about. So when we talk about the threshold angle here, really what we're looking at is the maximum slope the angles need for support. And so when I say the maximum is 45 degrees, anything below 45 degrees should be getting support. And it's just not doing a great job of noticing all of those overhangs on something like this. So sometimes I'll come in here and I'll drop this way down to 15 and see if we can just trick the system a little bit. And we'll do one more slice before I give up on this. Now that seemed to give us more support. So we definitely have got more support in here. So I do find that interesting that now we've told it, hey, let's drop that angle down to 15 being the maximum that needs support. We get a few more support trees and support limbs coming up. Total time here, an hour and 17 minutes. So I didn't really add a lot of time doing that. But I still don't like this. I'm not getting what I want. So this is one of the few cases where I may come in and actually paint on supports. I don't use this very often because I feel like the default slicer does a pretty good job of applying supports. But in this case, it's just not giving me what I'm looking for. And I want quite a bit of support on this. So we are going to go back to prepare and we are going to select our object and choose support painting. And tools we have our circle, sphere, our fill. These are very similar to the painting ones. And the only one I ever use is actually the circle. So we're going to turn on our option that allows us to paint only on overhangs. And we're going to increase our pen size just a little bit, maybe double the size of that. And right now it is highlighting overhang areas at a 15-degree angle. So similar to the settings we were just looking at. And you'll know that they're highlighted just because of this yellow that we have here. And so as I go through and work on this, I will just select areas and click and drag over the yellow, and anything that turns to a blue is now going to be supported. And again, I'm just looking at these areas that are yellow and painting these on. Okay, I'm just double checking a few spots here, making sure we got almost all of them. Took just a few minutes to get all these in here, but I think that looks pretty good actually. Double check the top where we definitely need some support. Looks like I missed those ones there. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. So we're going to return this back and we're going to have to make just one small change here. So instead of tree auto, we're going to go tree manual. That's going to take into effect all of the painting I just did. And now we're going to slice the plate. After a quick slice, you'll see, hey, we've added some serious amount of support, and it looks like all of those critical regions I was looking at before that I wanted painted all have supports painted on them. So this is definitely the best way to fix some of these issues that you'll run into with just your basic slicing and that threshold angle, is just doing a quick manual paint. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. As always, if you found it useful, give us a like or even subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.